Hey guys, welcome back to the Soccer Shack. I'm in the studio with Pat Garber and Will Hoffman, and we're here back talking about some Premier League soccer. Pat, why don't you start us off with some upsets that happened over the weekend?
All right, so the biggest upset was obviously Tottenham Hotspur beating Manchester City 2-0. Early on, there was a controversial call. A couple weeks ago, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang got sent off for this same thing that happened against Crystal Palace when he was playing for Arsenal. He ended up missing 3 games. Raheem Sterling went studs up on Dele Alli, the Tottenham player, and basically they went to a VAR review. Nothing happened. Raheem Sterling played the rest of the game, and Tottenham ended up winning. So
Guess who scored? The new signee, Berwin, the young lad from PSV Eindhoven.
in the Netherlands, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually pretty impressive for such a young player to score in his first game
Yeah,
in the big leagues.
I hate Tottenham, bro. I do not want to talk about Tottenham at all, man.
No, I totally agree with you. But I mean, this is definitely a huge upset in Premier League. Mourinho getting almost like revenge against Guardiola here. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, Mourinho's gotten the best of Guardiola a couple times in the past while they were at Real Madrid and Barcelona respectively, and the tactics. Tottenham only had 2 shots, both of them went in, while Manchester City had 17 and 0 went in. So Manchester City even got red carded. Zinchenko ended up with 2 yellow cards in the second half, and yeah, Man City were playing down 10 men good majority of that game.
Can't leave out Liverpool, who was undefeated over the weekend as well. They had like a fantastic match. I can't remember who they played.
They played Southampton.
Southampton. I mean, Liverpool is just absolutely crushing it this season, and they're still at the top of the leaderboard, I believe.
Yep, up to 22 points now from the next
Second
opponent,
place, which is Manchester City.
Yeah, I see that gap never closing, probably widening a little bit here. Firmino, didn't he have like 3 assists?
I actually don't know. I know Mo Salah went off. You got 2
Mo Salah
goals
did
and an
go off.
assist. And then Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scoring an absolute banger. Once again, man, stays scoring bangers. I wish he was still at Arsenal sometimes, but like other times his end product is not the best. So good to see him scoring. Not good to see Liverpool win again.
Yeah, we're trying to get that Invincibles title still remaining for Arsenal.
Yeah,
but
bro. I just need one team, bro. One team is all I need to beat them.
well, good thing we have 2-3 months left in the season, or
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the season's wrapping up. Well, this coming week is Matchweek 26. I know Max has got some games for us to look out for, which is split into 2 weeks, ironically, for the first time ever. And then we've got 38 weeks in the season. So we've got about 12 games left.
12 games. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's the first time they were going to do that, is split up matches over the next 2 weeks to, what is it, for winter break they're going to cover it for?
So basically in Germany, they have a winter break period, which lasts actually a month. Teams will go and play in like Spain, and they'll train in the Middle East. Just keep their flow going. They got friendlies. I know Arsenal is not playing this weekend, sadly. So Arteta's actually told the players, the first team players, to bring themselves and their families to Dubai for the next week, where they're going to train and they're just going to hang out. I know there's a team dinner scheduled on Tuesday. Actually, tonight, yeah. I know a bunch of teams are doing that. Liverpool's on winter break as well. I don't know if they're going elsewhere to train or if they're staying in England.
Well, this is also a good opportunity for the youth products of their team to get some first team reps, but at probably just a lower league Saudi Arabian team or wherever they're at.
Games are games when you're looking at it, especially when you're a young player trying to break into the first team. So not a big deal. They're just rolling. Hopefully can get off of them draws, bro. We need some wins.
Yeah, Arsenal needs something. But I mean, with those transfers they got it was Cedric and
Mari. They both signed on loan. 2 defenders, so hopefully they can help us in the future, like the near future.
Well, before we go talk on to the next week match list or fixtures, we talked about the Man U Wolves game. We kind of spotlighted that in last week's podcast. 0-0 draw. Rather a boring game.
Very boring game. It's kind of like the
And
Arsenal Burnley game.
it was the debut for Bruno Fernandes, their new $80 million signee. What was your opinion? I mean, besides that, it was boring as anything.
Bruno Fernandes straight into the team. 80 million is kind of like a hefty price tag if you're looking at it. Honestly, I was not that impressed. Like, I've seen other players, like especially Berwin. As much as I hate to say it, Berwin for Tottenham looked a million times better than Bruno Fernandes. And I think I'm gonna knock on some wood here, but I think Manchester United might have found another flop there with Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple highlights. There was a joke that before you watched this video, it was on Twitter. It was a free kick. It was an awarded free kick. The description or the caption was like, "Look at the passion, the technical ability, and something." However, the ball went completely out of bounds, not near anyone. It was that was just hilarious.
It was about, I think it was like 40 yards out. Usually when you get a free kick from that far, you're crossing the ball in the box.
Yeah.
And you're hopefully your other players are going to get on the end of it for a header, but nah, that ball went sailed straight out over the end line and nobody was even close to it.
And then after the game, he decides to take off his jersey, his debut jersey for Man U, and give it to a Wolves player.
Yeah. He traded jerseys with a Wolves player. Usually you do that in games, like that's obvious, but like your first game, bro. Yeah. That's your jersey. That's your debut jersey. You hang that up in your like house. And that man said, "Nah, I don't want this jersey. I don't want to play for Man U, bro." Yeah. Some passion.
Well, you bring that point up that he doesn't want to play. I mean, is that a thing, or do you know of anything? Because I haven't really been following him.
I don't know. I think that's kind of throwing it out of the water. But I know some players do not want to play for Manchester United. You look at Antonio Martial. You see him walking around the pitch, and he's supposed to be the number 9. Their striker scoring the goals, and he's just not doing anything. He's just trotting around, not showing any effort. And then you got Pogba, who, for like the 7th time in the past year and a half, he's asked Manchester United to sell him, and they just don't do it, and he just doesn't want to play. Like, I don't know, what more do you want from a team?
I mean, like looking at the game, it may have been boring, but I mean, it's like over the course of the entire game, not only did Man U have more possession, but they had more passes, touches on the ball, and you talk about how some of these guys just don't want to play, but at least they're getting the ball moved around a little bit. And they're not just sticking it with one guy to just do all the work. I think some of these guys might not want to play, but at the same time, and I know that some people will argue this, and it's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business, and like if you're in the league, whether you're in Premier League or NBA or NFL, it's a business, and you guys brought that up with people not want to play. What about Man City, West Ham? West Ham's boss, Patrick, you said, is on the hot seat too. Yes. On the way out.
Yes, David Moyes. He took over, and I think it was the end of December. He came into the managerial spot just about the same time as Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal boss. Yeah, I've seen reports that the West Ham board, they're just not happy with the results. Like, Moyes started out very well, very strong. I know they ended up beating Bournemouth 4-0 at the very beginning of January, but since then it's been draw, loss. Very bad results. And they've targeted Rafa Benitez, former Liverpool and Newcastle boss. Rafa Benitez was a manager for Real Madrid in the past and some teams in Italy. He's currently the manager in one of the teams at China, so he's looking to come back to England. I know he wants to come back. I know Arsenal were looking at him for a little bit. They decided to go with Arteta. A very, very experienced boss is out there, and I think West Ham might end up going for him in the near future if things don't change.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing right now is that everyone seems to be concerned about, their game against Manchester City and then Liverpool, and that how this will sort of cement their place in the relegation zone regarding the number of goals they've got over the course of the entire season, from the reading I've done, and that sort of seemed I think that would be frustrating for anybody, but I don't know what else you would do in a position like that besides sort of start stressing.
Yeah, usually you bring in a manager around December, January to try and fix the survival struggle, but usually if you're down in the relegation zone, there's a very slim chance of you getting out before the end of the season. And I know some teams have done it in the past. It's been called the Great Escape, but if you're down there, it's a struggle, and you got to grind out the results, or else you're on the way out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty common with just about any team. You know, you see a lot of high turnover with NFL, and I'm sure like in the Premier League, it's pretty much just as common to see that. You know, it's like we talked about on last week's talk. You know, even with the captains, people are just getting rid of like people are coming and going, and that's just going to be kind of how it is. Like I said, it's a business. Not to change topics here, but Arsenal too. You know, Arsenal, you said they're going to be in pretty of a kind of a tough spot too here coming up. Got the most draws in any season. Is that correct?
Yeah,
They're on their way to get the most.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're on their
on
way.
their way. I think
Right.
13 and 17 is the most in the Premier League.
Yeah, it is not looking too good right now, bro. After 25 games, we actually have the most draws in Premier League history at that time. And if we get 4 more, we tie the record. And I don't know. We literally have 6 wins on the season. Also, not very good. But then we got 13 draws, which is insane compared to like other teams. And then 6 losses. 6 losses. Liverpool have 0. And then you have Manchester City and Leicester City with 6 losses. Every other team is worse off in losses. And we're sitting in 10th because we can't score enough goals to give us those wins. So it's really frustrating to watch as a fan, especially this past weekend when we played Burnley. It was not a pretty match.
Not a good match. No, I mean it's tough to see that kind of stuff because you want to like as far as the board would go, you know, you're sitting there with a certain number of losses that puts you at a certain spot. But then because of the total number of games you have played, you know, you're further down just in terms of you haven't put the ball back in the net, and that's causing some issues. And I'm sure some controversy for them as well. And you mentioned earlier Virgil van Dijk too. He's going 150 million to Juventus.
Well, this is just rumors. I saw today that actually yesterday. I told Patrick yesterday I wanted to surprise him for this broadcast today, but it's all right. I mean, because we were talking transfers the other day, but the big one I saw that day was Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, and Juventus Cristiano Ronaldo, with the caption rumored Juventus interested for Virgil van Dijk for 150 mil. That would be huge.
Yeah,
Like,
that would be huge,
especially for a defender.
Yeah.
Not only that, but
Right now, the most expensive defender was actually before it was Virgil van Dijk before this offseason. Then Harry Maguire went for 80 million to Manchester United. 150 million. You're adding just about 70 million on, and that's 2 players. That's like insane. I don't know how reliable this source is. I haven't really seen too much about this. If it's just rumors just starting up, but if he was to leave Liverpool, I would honestly be shocked because Liverpool, top 5 team in the world at the moment, running away with the Premier League, and to see him go to a new team where he'd be first choice center back, but playing with a new center back partner, I don't know. I just don't see it too. It's kind of a weird one.
I mean, it's okay because I told you, I don't really know if these rumors are true or not. I just saw it. But I mean, not talking about Italy for too long, but Juventus, I mean, that back 4, they're pretty old because didn't Chiellini come back?
Chiellini, he's actually out with an ACL tear right now. I think I saw pictures of him in training 2 days ago or something. But right now, their partnership is Bonucci, who is about 29, 30 years old. And then you have De Ligt, who made the move over the summer.
Right, yes.
So,
well, that could be a Dutch connection there. That's probably what they're aiming for.
But they also have a young Turkish center back who Arsenal is actually interested in Demiral, who tore his ACL very recently as well. So, yeah, it's not looking pretty. I know they have a couple other center backs. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're kind of shuffling it out.
Yeah, that'd be interesting development in the near future if something should go down.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But like you, I'm very skeptical. This probably won't happen, but we'll see. What are the games happening this week?
Obviously, we got that winter break, so only 8 teams are playing this weekend, then the other 12 are playing next weekend, so it's kind of split up this match week. But the big one this weekend is Manchester City playing. Who are they playing?
Manchester City looks like they're going to be playing up against West Ham.
So yes, the West Ham one, where West Ham in a bit of trouble. They got Manchester City and Liverpool back-to-back. I see those...
Oof.
2 losses for the Hammers, and I don't know. That might be the end of David Moyes if he's not too careful here.
Yeah, that was what we talked about earlier. And that was one of the things that they were stressed about is West Ham is going to play them, and then later I think they're going to play Liverpool as well. So that's definitely going to be a big stress for them. But we've got Everton playing Crystal Palace, Brighton playing Watford, and as well as that we got Sheffield United playing Bournemouth. Like we just said, Man City and West Ham. So that'll round us out through Valentine's Day for right now. But yeah, like you said, that West Ham Man City is gonna be interesting, not only on like a game perspective, but in addition, we're gonna have to see where David Moyes sort of lands in terms of if he's gonna have a job after that.
Yeah,
I think for the Hammers, that's gonna put some stress on the admin office for sure.
I'm actually really excited for Sheffield. I mean, I understand that last week they did pull off a victory, 1-0 over. I actually don't know.
yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, anyway, they pulled off the 1-0 victory. So that's another 3 points. I think I saw the latest league standings. They're up to 6 now.
Yeah, they're doing well. We talked about it last week on the podcast. They've been sitting around that Europa League spot. I would not be surprised if they ended up making it in that spot by the end of the season.
Very optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, Sander Berg, he played 90 minutes and he was an absolute rock in midfield. So great signing for Sheffield United, at least so far. I don't know.
Well, how about so since we're now talking about recent transfers, we talked about Berwin, we talked about Berg, Minamino with Liverpool. Did you see anything with him or
I know Liverpool were up 4-0 when he did come on. It was 78th minute. Not really too much to see. Kind of get a late cameo. I think that's actually his first appearance for Liverpool. So I think Jurgen Klopp's trying to integrate him into the league a little more because it's a new language. He came from Salzburg in Austria. Austrian league, not really that good. Obviously, he's played in the Champions League. So he's got some good experience against good teams. But I think right now, at least, Jurgen Klopp's trying to get him going slowly, and then by the end of the season, into next season, he'll start playing way more. I have something for you. So,
oh boy, this ought to be interesting.
I know you're a big Bundesliga guy.
Yeah,
all right.
What about it?
So, Timo Werner, right?
Yes.
He's got a year and a half left on his contract. At the end of the season, yes, with Leipzig, the end of the season, he's available for $25 million, which is absolutely insane.
Wow, that's low.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's like what?
Manchester City, or not Manchester City, Manchester United,
oh boy,
and Liverpool looking at him, and they're willing to give him up to 300,000 in euros in wages per week.
Wow.
What are your thoughts?
Okay, well, I don't see him going to Liverpool because they have a solid front three.
I see that more than going to Manchester United.
But Manchester United needs a striker, and Timo Werner is a very great striker, very decent. He's always reliable for Leipzig for the past couple of years.
I don't know. I see him. I know Jurgen Klopp is a huge fan, so I see him going to Liverpool more, kind of like as a backup striker, because you can always play Firmino. He can drop back. You play Cam, Salah, and Mane on the wings, and then Werner up top. That's kind of like that's a disgusting front four if you look at it and think about it.
Wow. You know, I definitely agree, and because there's a Bundesliga connection between Werner and Klopp, I can see why you say he might be solid there. I don't know, but in terms of necessity, Man U needs him.
Man U does need him, but Liverpool also needs another striker. What happens if Firmino gets injured?
Divock Origi.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
The God
buddy.
himself.
I don't know about that one, buddy. Also got another one for you. All right. Kind of a Bundesliga connection, but over this weekend, Thomas Tuchel, the former Dortmund manager,
he's PSG now, right?
He's now at PSG, right?
Right.
And you see where I'm going with this. Kylian Mbappe got taken off. They got into a fight after Mbappe was subbed.
Wait, physical fight?
No, like verbal fight. They got in a verbal fight. And now talks of 300 million euro transfer move to Real Madrid in the summer.
Wow. If Zidane can pull that off.
They got the French connection, bro.
I agree.
I don't know. It could be it could be something to look out for.
He could link up for Eden Hazard, former
Vinicius, Chelsea player. Rodrigo, and they just brought in a new guy in Renier, who's only 18 years old, I think, for 50 million from a team actually from Flamengo in Brazil, the Copa Libertadores champions. Something big to talk about, look into in the future.
Well, since 300 million, that could be a historic transfer. Something very historic happened this past weekend with the Premier League. Max, do you want to tell us?
The lad out of Tanzania, Mwana Samata, 99th player from another country in the Premier League. And I don't know all the details. Wasn't he, not first one to score?
He actually bagged his first goal this weekend.
Okay,
for
his
Aston Villa.
first goal. First goal.
So, and obviously the first Tanzanian player to ever score in the Premier League, which is a huge honor. Because like you look at it, 99 different countries have scored. Who's going to be the 100th? It could be absolutely anyone. And I don't know, I've never in my life have seen a Tanzanian player make it anywhere.
Yeah,
I agree.
Big leagues. So that's I don't know, that's cool for me.
Yeah, he's definitely the first Tanzanian I ever heard of in any league, anywhere. Obviously scoring the first goal for a Tanzanian player in the Premier League, and then obviously first appearance. So that's a huge accomplishment. I mean, it is only one player, but does this possibly put Tanzania on the map?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see in the upcoming years. I think he's about 21, 22-ish, if I remember correctly. He came from Belgium, or Club Bruges, in the January transfer window, actually. And it might, I don't know. We're thinking about that. Like, I was thinking about that when Bertrand Traore scored a couple years ago for Chelsea. He was the first Burkina Faso player. But ever since then, he's gone left. He went for Lyon, and I haven't seen any Burkina Faso players score. So it's better. But I don't know. Anything could happen. It's the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it just breaks the ice for more people. For more young players from any country. It doesn't have to just be Tanzania to come on over and have their shot at the Premier League. Well, that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Soccer Shack. Again, it's Max Weidman, Patrick Garber, and Will Hoffman. We're signing off. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Let's go.